Présentation en anglais, it's in English, créole moins pas trop bon. So, si vous avez une question, just call it email, then it's all going to be in English. Okay, no one say Rose. I am very happy to be here tonight. I don't really do well with public speaking, but this is an exciting moment. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I can speak in a room full of kids because I am an educator. I love children. But when it comes to adults, I'm sorry, it's not my comfort. But I am very happy to be here, and I am happy to share my research with you guys. I was approached by Sister Miriam and Sister Wisna to share my dissertation with you guys, and I was like, that's boring. Nobody want to hear my dissertation because it's not of interest. So I kind of tailored it to the theme of tonight and to kind of get us rolling and thinking about how imposter phenomenon can affect you and how to overcome that feeling. So I did my dissertation back in December of 2024. It was on imposter phenomenon. When I first started my doctoral program, I was really doing my research on Esau. I'm from Haiti, and my parents were Esau parents, right? They didn't know how to support me, so I was doing my research on how to get Esau parents to get more engaged in schools and to assist their students in growing. Well, one day I was in my class, and one of my classmates was sharing about how she was feeling since joining the doctoral program. If you know anything about, school is hard as is, but a doctoral program is 10 times as hard because you are, at this point, we're adults, right? We're adults and we're juggling life, our family life, our work, and now you're adding school to it. So it added another level, another layer of stress. And so she was sharing this, and I've never heard of the term imposter syndrome before. So as she's sharing that with me, with the class, I'm taking notes, because if you know me, I love to do research. So when I got home, I started researching what imposter syndrome was. And all the things that that came from the research were things that were really resonating with me. I was like, wow, I've been feeling this for years now. Not just while being in the program, but throughout my life. I can think of a point where I felt like an imposter in different situations. So I decided to, instead of doing my research on Esau, to focus on imposter syndrome. My research topic was self-doubt, imposter phenomenon, in the doctoral seeking school-based leader. So at that time, I had just started my doctoral program, and I had just also became an assistant principal. Not just an assistant principal now, an assistant principal at a challenging school. And that took a lot of my time, it took a lot of my energy, and I just felt like I was fighting this battle that I could not win. So as I started to do the research, I started to understand the feelings better, and it started to help me understand me better. Okay, like I said, this is my story that I just shared with you guys. When I started the research, I was just appointed assistant principal. I had just started my doctoral program, so I'm juggling both at the same time. And externally, if you're looking at me, I look like I'm accomplished. But internally, if you were to use like a magnifying glass to see through me, you would see that I am like dying internally because I am full of doubt. I don't have that belief in myself that I'm where I needed to be. Even though I was where I needed to be, I could not shake that feeling. Okay, so what is imposter phenomenon? So the term imposter phenomenon and also imposter syndrome, they can be used interchangeably. Imposter phenomenon is the persistent feeling of self-doubt despite your success. It's the fear of being exposed as a fraud. It's attributing success to luck or timing. And it is very common among high-achieving women. Men, they feel a sense of imposterism as well, but mostly women feel this, and I'll share why. This research was first conducted by two psychologists, Dr. Clance and Dr. Imes, back in 1978, when they were working with different professionals who were sensing, they were feeling this sense of not belonging, the fear of not being successful, even though they were successful. Okay, so like I said, imposter phenomenon affect women at a high rate, much higher rate than men, right? So why women? When we think about women, I'm sorry men, but women, think about yourselves in the room, right? We juggle with so much in life, right? When you are placed with an opportunity, when you are given an opportunity, the expectation is always so much higher than that of our male counterparts. Men, we could have the same exact role, but because I am a female, I have to work twice as hard to prove that I belong. So that's why a lot of times women will start feeling like they don't belong because they are working. They'll see their male counterpart really just coasting, but we are working twice as hard just to make it. Also, women, as moms, you work and then you go home and still have to be a mom, right? We don't get the day off. That's not a thing for women. We don't get a time off. So having to be successful in your job, being successful in your marriage, being successful as a parent, and then the community pressures, all of that contribute to being, to feeling like an imposter. Not being, but feeling, because imposterism is not really a syndrome. You're not diagnosed with imposter syndrome. It is a feeling that's internally. Most women feel like they are perfectionists, right? And if you have perfectionism and you are an overachiever, you are more than likely will experience imposter phenomena because you never feel like you are good enough. You're always striving to be better than what you were. All right, so the imposter cycle is a five-part cycle. For every challenge, every new challenge, you start to feel anxiety. Like, for example, when I was asked to speak tonight, this is a new challenge for me because I don't do well with public speaking. I don't like to speak in front of adults, right? Because you can't tell what adults are thinking or feeling. A child, I can read a child. But for an adult, it's always so hard for me. So speaking in front of an adult is a new challenge for me. So I start to feel that anxiety, right? And then there's two different ways that people who experience imposter phenomenon approach their discomfort. They are either going to over-procrastinate, they are going to procrastinate, or they are going to over-prepare. Me, I am a procrastinator. But I procrastinate a lot. I did not, even this presentation, I did not put it together until like 2 days ago, even though I knew about this one since December. This is how I operate. And part of it is because I'm trying to talk myself out of doing this. So at so many points throughout, from the time I was asked to do this and today, I've thought about how do I get out of it. And that's part of the procrastination part because I don't feel like I belong in a room of individuals speaking in front of people, right? Now after tonight, after I'm done with all of this, then I will have this temporary relief, right? Until somebody else asks me to come speak in front of another group. And now this cycle is gonna start all over again. So it's gonna be a new challenge, I'm gonna have the anxiety, I'm going to procrastinate, right? This is the process of the imposter cycle. Now this is what I found out with through my research. Growth triggers doubt. As you are growing, the more you grow, the more self-doubt you have, right? Whether it's a promotion, whether it's leadership transitions, whether it's advanced degrees, whether it's public accountability, all of those are uncomfortable situations that come with growth, and it comes with the imposter phenomenon. So like I said, I did research with some people, and I wanted people who can relate to what I was feeling. In my research, I recruited people who were current school-based leaders who were also Dr.Rose students. I interviewed them, and what I found was that imposter feelings strengthen during transitions. And people who are high achievers are mostly affected by this feeling. And your support system is very, very, very critical when, for people who experiences imposter feelings. Through my research, 4 themes emerge. The first one is your upbringing. Your upbringing plays a major role in the development of imposter feelings. I know a lot of us, we have Haitian parents, right? Haitian parents have very high expectations. The parents have high expectations, but Haitian parents have very high expectations. Right? I know my parents, lawyers, stuff like that, but that expectation was always there. Sibling comparisons. Although I am the older girl, I was never really compared to my siblings. My siblings were compared to me. So I didn't have that, but a lot of my participants shared that their sibling comparisons was what really contributed to them feeling like an imposter, and then the pressure to prove their intelligence. Once people have a sense that you are the smart person, now you have no choice but to continue to be the smart person. Like for me, I don't think I'm a smart person. I just know I know how to study, right? I do well in school because I know how to study. I don't know information like just off the top of my head. I study. But people assume that I should know things because I've always gotten good grades. I'm just a good student. That's really what it is. The second theme is professional and academic life. So balancing those two. Whether it's the new leadership roles or being in a high visibility environment, the fear of not belonging always shows up when you're trying to juggle the two. The third theme was the superwoman pressure. As women who feel like they are imposters, we feel like we have to do it all. We feel like we have to do it well. We feel like we cannot drop anything, right? Otherwise, we're gonna expose ourselves. People are gonna feel like, maybe she won't belong here, and which in turn creates burnout. It increases the risk of burnout. Now, with all of this, I wanted to know. This is theme 4. I wanted to know how do people who deals with imposter phenomenon, how do they cope with it? Well, some of the ways the participants share that they cope with imposter phenomenon was joining peer support networks with people who actually are in the same situations as you, like maybe a school leadership group, maybe a doctoral student group, but people who understand what you're going through and can help you cope with some of the feelings that you're going through. Seeking mentorship, reflecting on some of the things that you are doing. Affirmations, that positive self-talk, right? Telling yourself that you can do it. Canceling out that noise that's in the back of your head. And this one was the biggest one for me, setting boundaries. As school-based leaders, it is so hard for us to not set boundaries. We work day in and day out. But some of my participants were sharing how after 5 o'clock, they cut the school off completely. And that's something that I feel like I never did. If somebody from school called me after 5 o'clock, I'm answering, I'm always working. But you have to set that boundary because you're only your best self if you are your best self, right? So if you're not taking care of yourself, you cannot be your best self. So people who have imposter feelings, they typically, if you look up there, we have imposter thinking and the reinvented thinking. People who have imposter feelings always find an excuse for their success, right? Rather than saying, I was prepared, they will say, I got lucky. No, you did the work. right? This is your accomplishment. It's not luck. Rather than saying, I earned this, they would say, I just worked hard. No, you are in this space because you did the work. So shifting our mindsets and shifting the way we think as people who feel like imposters. So now reinventing that thinking and owning who you are. People who experience imposter feelings, you have to learn to deal with it. If you don't deal with it, there comes burnout, there comes chronic stress, there comes anxiety. And all of these contribute to women leaving leadership spaces. Because if you don't deal with these, again, if you're not your best self, you cannot be your best self. You have to learn to deal with these in order to be your best self. So, like I said, I was an ESOL student myself. I am from Haiti. I was born in Haiti. I moved to the States when I was 8 years old. My parents they were not high school graduates or college graduates, so I had to create my own blueprint. It was not something that was modeled for me. I had to create my own blueprint. I became a teacher. I knew I wanted more, so I became an assistant principal. During COVID, while people were trying to find new hobbies, I decided to go back to school. Crazy, right? I went back to school for my doctorate and got my doctorate in education. And although, and doubt is something that I live with. Although I live with doubt, I am learning to lead despite the doubt. So, before I leave, I want you guys to think about an achievement that you have minimized because of your self-doubt. Think about yourself, something that you have done and you have accomplished. Would anyone like to share something they have done or accomplished that they have minimized because of their self-doubt?
Sure. Hello everyone, my name is Miriam. I can relate so much with what she's saying. I have my master's in nursing informatics and also a manager. So being in that role and what I'm doing, a lot of time I feel like I don't belong. This is not for me. How did I get there? Maybe somebody else can do the job better than I can. But like you said, I did the work and I belong to be there. So thank you for sharing.
Anybody else? No? Well, we have to rewrite that narrative, right? We have to own our preparation. And you have to, most importantly, know that you are where you belong. This is for you. And my final message, and this is something that I've had to learn, and I hope you guys learn it too. You were never an imposter. I was never an imposter. You were never an imposter, right? We are evolving. The more you grow, that doubt comes, but you have to know that you are in this space because you work hard and this is where you belong. Reinvention is not alignment. It's alignment, I'm sorry. It's not transformation, it's alignment. You are aligning with who God has created you to be. God has given you this opportunity. You have to take it forward and step fully into who you already are. That's all.
Moi perdi en pile, mais moi prends un peu d'informations pour assurer moi je n'en sur certains que même moi joindre tout. Nous dit merci à Dr. Apollon qui a fait présentation ça pour nous assurer